Hi, we're Group 7, and this is our hotel management system. It was programmed mainly in Java, and the front end was done in Java FX. I'm Gabriel Vargas, and I mainly did the front end.
I'm Mark Monarch, and I worked on the back end.
And I'm Nathan Hyman. I mainly worked on backing up the system.
Okay, we're going to do a quick walkthrough of the functionality of our hotel system.
So as you can see here, we have a login page. We provided a way to have two different types of accounts, one that's an employee account and one that's a manager account, each of which that has different abilities. So as you can see here, the employee can add a reservation, modify and cancel a reservation, accept payment for in-advance reservations, and check customers in and out. Employees also have the ability to generate an arrival report and a daily occupancy report. So now if we switch users to a manager account, we'll have more functionality since they have all the abilities of the employee and more. So as you can see here, they have the ability to add reservations, modify and cancel reservations, and all the other abilities of an employee. But they also have the new ability to set the base rate for the hotel and additional reports to print. So we're just going to step through really quick adding a reservation. So here on this page, you can see that initially the customer must provide a start date and an end date for the reservation. We also have a checkbox to set if this is a prepaid reservation or not. If this is set and it's not 90 days in advance, an error will appear at the top of the screen. So we handle a lot of error checking at this stage. So after you submit it, you see that it'll tell you the cost the reservation is going to be. In this case, it's $160 because we set the base rate in advance to be $100, plus the incentive discount ends up with $160. So on this page, we go through and input all of the customer's information, their name, phone number, email, and credit card information. We do a lot of error checking for the phone number, credit card number, as well as the email. We verify that it's all formatted correctly, adding the dashes and all. In this pane, we also verify that they input all of the information. We don't want to have a case where we don't know everything we need to about a customer. So now we submit this, and it says the reservation has been added. If we go to the Manager tab in the expected occupancy report, you can now see that the a new incentive reservation has been added, and the total has been increased for the 2 nights in which the customer will be staying. On the 5th, which was their end date, there's no reservation. That's because they check out and they're not taking up space then.
Okay, now we're going to step through modifying a reservation. In this window, you can modify a reservation and also cancel a reservation. To cancel the reservation, you would just check the checkbox and not specify any dates. So we look up reservations in the system mainly by credit card number. So as you see there, you typed in a credit card number and then you just specify the new start and end date, and you can click submit and it should modify it. So now when you go to the expected occupancy report now, you can see that the 2nd, which was the new begin date, is now in the expected occupancy report.
Okay, so now for the system, we needed a way to step through the days to perform tasks such as seeing if there are no-shows, sending out emails, stuff like that. We have it linked to a shortcut right now since we're obviously not going to wait to test it day by day. After you do that, after one day you see there are no new updates. If we go to the Manager tab, we can check the new arrivals. And the reservation we added is now an arrival. We show the type, the room number, as well as the departure date. And then if we do it again and go to the following day, you can see that now this reservation has been canceled and marked as a no-show because we never checked the reservation in. So
now we can go to the Manager tab and we will go through changing the base rate. So the manager can change the base rate while an employee cannot. That's one of the special privileges of being a manager. So now you just specify the rate in dollars, and then you just specify the new start and end date of that rate. So for the whole month of May, now we're charging a base rate of $200. Now we'll just show that verify this is working and add another reservation. Okay, now we just do the same May 3rd to 5th as we did earlier and just see what the price is. Okay, now the price is $320, whereas before it was $160. That's a whole $160 difference. It's double the cost. Okay, now we have to wait for, while we're waiting for Nathan to punch in all this information, I will say that while you're testing this, Control-Alt-D is the shortcut to change days.
And so the next thing we're going to show is how to check a customer in. Again, like with modifying the reservation, we'll look them up by credit card number. Since we already moved forward 2 days, this reservation has been added for today. So if we go to the Managers tab and click Arrivals again, you now see this new reservation has been added. It's again an incentive type. But now if we go to the Customer tab, we can check in this reservation. Again, we check them in by credit card number. And this customer has successfully been checked in. So if we go to the next day, as you can see, this customer has not been removed as a no-show since they checked in, and we can go to the Manager tab in the Daily Occupancy Report, and this customer is now checked in.
Now we're going to go through a post-mortem analysis of what went right and what went wrong. We're going to start out with saying some of the things we thought that went right with the project.
So one of the main things that helped me with the project was we did a lot of upfront design. So we were able to build the architecture of our project to fit the exact needs that we had, such as making reports and adding reservations to the system.
Additionally, with the upfront initial design with the system, we were able to implement the system in modules, which made unit testing a lot easier. We were able to test each individual component separately from each other and then implement them into the final system to test how they worked with each other.
And going off of that, we sort of divided the project into 3 broad categories: the front end, the back end, and the backups. And this allowed us to independently work on each section and also test the other sections. This allowed us to find more bugs and debug faster than we would have if we would have worked on everything together. And now we're going to go through some of the things we did not think went right with the project.
So 2 issues I had, and I'm sure we all had, were testing and time constraints. So although we did do a lot of testing with this project, there are a lot of edge cases and special considerations that need to be tested. So integration testing, smoke testing, all of that was very difficult. The other thing, as I said, was time constraints. So while I started off the project making very nice code that was organized, towards the end, as the due date got closer and closer, my code became more hacky, should we say. Although this wasn't that much of an issue with this project, if it had been a larger system or people needed to work on it in the future, it would definitely cause problems.
Issues we had as a group standpoint, one major issue was that one group member did not communicate at all with us. We had no communication with him. He did not reach out to us at all for this project, so he pretty much dropped off. The other major issue we had as a group was that it was very hard to get 3 schedules to align in substantial ways to meet up for periods of time to work on this project. It was mainly, we met up slightly for a few minutes at a time and talked about where we're at and then went on our way.
And a large problem we had was integrating GitHub with our IDEs. The project was started in the IntelliJ IDE, and that has its own project files, configuration files that it works with. And when we tried to use Eclipse with this and pull all the GitHub code from it, Eclipse did not like using all the IntelliJ configuration and project files, and it was hard to set up Eclipse projects to work with our GitHub code. Another very big problem we had was working with 2 different operating systems. We had 2 Windows users and 1 Mac user, and the front end especially looked much different on Mac than it did Windows. Like, we would get something working on Windows correctly, and then suddenly it wouldn't work on Mac. And that's some of the stuff that we thought went right and went wrong with the project. Thank you.